Hello, thank you for tuning into this 2025 Primary Election Candidate Forum for the Olympia School District Position 3. This forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County in collaboration with Thurston Community Media. The League of Women Voters is proud to be nonpartisan, neither supporting nor opposing candidates or political parties at any level of government. The League works on vital issues of concerns to members and to the public and to defend our democracy and empower voters. TC Media empowers the community by providing media resources and training so people of all ages, interests, and backgrounds can make videos about what's important to them. TC Media brings the community together by connecting residents, nonprofits, governments, and businesses through media coverage. It's all about giving folks the video skills and capabilities to share their own stories and interests. I am Valley Needham Heisman with the League, and I will be moderating this forum. Evan Ferber is our timer. According to their website, the Olympia School District Board of Directors is comprised of 5 citizens elected to represent the community in setting district goals and policies, adopting the budget, placing tax levies and bond issues on the ballot, hiring personnel, including the superintendent, and providing the necessary facilities for the education of our community's youth. There are 2 candidates participating in this forum, Renee Fullerton and Ryan Smith. Brittany Johnson was invited but was unable to participate. For this forum, each candidate will have the opportunity to answer a series of questions. We will call on candidates by reverse alphabetical order. They will take turns being the first one to answer the questions. Each one will relate to one subject only, and candidates should answer the questions posed to them. Candidates will close by giving a statement. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to the questions asked. If you need me to repeat the questions, don't hesitate to ask. This timer will turn yellow when you have 15 seconds left, and then will show a stop sign when your time is up. If you don't notice the sign, I will let you know. We stress the importance of civility in our forums. Candidates have received the ground rules for the forum, and we will ask if they agree to abide by them. Ryan and Renee, you have read the rules, and you will abide by them?
I will.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. The first question, we will begin with Ryan Smith. Why are you running for the Olympia School Board?
Yeah, great question. I'm running for the Olympia School Board because I care deeply about kids and teachers in our community. Over the last several years, we've seen the local school board, Olympia School Board, lose trust in our community, and we've made national news for some negative things, and more and more parents are concerned about the direction of the school board, and so I want to step in and be a reasonable, balanced, and trusted voice to the board that can represent more of the community than is currently on the school board. And so I look forward to representing the community in positive ways where I can collaborate with fellow board members, work great with teachers, care well for kids, and continue the legacy that we've had in the Olympia School District for so long, which unfortunately has suffered as of late, especially around trust in our community, closing schools, and things like that.
Thank you, Ryan. Renee.
Thank you for the question also. So I wanted to get down to it. I'm a mom of 2 kids who go to the Olympia school districts, and last fall I just couldn't really understand what was going on in our community and through the news reporting, and so I started going to meetings. I've been going to the school board meetings and work sessions when I can continuously since then, and when you get right down to it, I just got invested. I think our district has built some amazing things, and I think there's also some really strong room for growth. In particular, I'm a public health professional and workforce development background, and I think there's some really amazing opportunities we could open up for our students around career and technical education, connecting more with the employers in their communities to make sure we're equipping the students with what they need to be able to go out and be successful in their first steps afterwards, whether they're going to college or if they're going into a skilled trade, if they're going directly into the workforce or to an employer. More smart employers are looking down into our educational system, and we need to leverage that.
Awesome. Thank you, Renee. Renee, you will start with this question. What do you think are the main challenges facing the school board right now, and how do you propose addressing them?
I mean, I think both, there's a pretty strong shared understanding that we have a board that's been in a challenging place the last couple years. Challenging because there have been tough conversations. We all just went through a pandemic together, and that's left a real mark on the community, on the families, on the students. We also see that with our attendance, not being as strong as it was prior to the pandemic. We see it with our test scores not being as strong as they were prior to the pandemic. And I'm not here to, cast blame, but it's more an issue of question. Like, how do we look at these issues and recommit to our families that have been really heavily impacted? I think budget is part of the equation. We have to figure out how we can save ourselves. There's a lot of focus on growing revenue and on figuring out ways to bring money into the district. We're sort of coming off a big influx of federal dollars. We really need to look at that thoughtfully and think about, given the large resources that we do have in a well-resourced community, how can we make sure we're serving all students?
All right. Thank you, Renee. Ryan, the same question to you. Do you want me to repeat it?
That'd be great. It's the biggest problems. Maybe repeat it one more time.
Yep. So we are asking you, what are the main challenges facing the school board right now, and how do you propose addressing them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with Renee, and I think all of us got involved, I'm sure Brittany as well, when she was looking at the school district issues around school closures, around different areas of ideological thinking, the national news, all the things that are happening in our district. And I think the biggest obstacles we have are, like I said earlier, is rebuilding trust in the community. And the second area is we have a huge budget shortfall. I brought the budget with me. If you look at the forecasts over the next 3 to 4 years, we're looking at spending at a deficit rate of close to $10 to $12 million, and it's just not sustainable for us to do that. We've got to look at ways to increase revenue. We've got to find out ways that we're overspending. We've got to figure out what's going on, and I think that the board needs to do a better job of having some self-reflection, and so that's my hope, is that we'll ask tough questions. We'll say, what's going on? Why are folks leaving? And to rebuild trust and to spend time in the schools and collaborate with parents and families, that to say the parents are the primary stakeholders in a child's life, and I look forward to doing that.
Okay. Awesome. So we are going to go back to Ryan to answer this question first. What are the programs, services, and/or personnel that you would prioritize while maintaining challenging budgets?
One more time, the prioritizing around programs.
What are the programs, services, and/or personnel would you prioritize while managing challenging budgets?
I mean, one of the things that is so great about our district is we have amazing teachers who love what they do. They love kids. And so I think we need to make sure that we're extremely careful around how we protect and provide for our teachers to be competitive, to recruit the best teachers. So that would be an area that I would make sure that we are protecting. But I think there's some areas that we could look at over the last several years that have developed into larger areas of focus. I think a good look at the district in terms of director level salaries and things like that would be super important for us to take a look at. Where are the areas that we are overspending on some of those personnel that are not directly connected to students, and believing that we are also capable of providing some resources for our teachers. So those would be there. And the third, I think we have to take a closer look at our facilities and which ones are functioning correctly, not correctly, and those would be the areas that I would want to focus on.
Okay. Renee, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So as I said earlier in my answer, I really truly am passionate about our career and technical education. And I think that is an area where we already have some really innovative work with the Freedom Farm that we could look to build upon, and how to integrate additional opportunities like that into the work that our school district is already succeeding in. I do think we have to have a really good conversation around our provision of behavioral health services to our students. With the federal dollars that came in, we were able to go up to 4 social workers, and those have been retained, though the money is no longer available for it, because there does seem to be just a really higher need in our community overall for that type of service. I think though we have to acknowledge that there are limitations because the schools aren't funded as fully as they need to be to provide behavioral health services. So I think it's important to maintain. We also need to be looking for other partners in the community that share our goals about improving kids' mental health and look for how we can work together as well.
Okay. We are returning to Renee to answer the question first. What is your opinion of the board's role versus parents' role in decisions regarding curriculum and textbooks?
So I think it's a both and I think also I would call out that we're missing an important piece because we also need to talk to our educators. Because truly our educators in our schools are the ones who are going to be the subject matter experts and are doing it day in and day out on what works. And I know we have some really exciting examples of new reading curriculum being tried in some of the elementary schools, but it hasn't been rolled out everywhere. I think if we've got a group of educators who are super invested in a curriculum like that, we need to be encouraging them to bring that forward. If it's working one place, we should look to replicate across the school district. I think overall on the board side of things, the board needs to reflect the overall tenor of the community and what the community is valuing in providing education overall. And then we do need to have a place for parents to ask questions. I myself have asked questions as a parent when I had a curriculum concern when my child was in second grade during the pandemic, and the district was open to that and receptive.
Okay. Ryan, would you like me to repeat the question?
I think I've got it. In terms of the boards and the parents' role in regards to curriculum, and I agree. I mean, again, so about a month ago, I went and met with Frank Wilson, who was a former Olympia board member for the last, or not last, but for 12 years. So it's in 2007 to 2019, and he had a great statement. Two things that stood out to me. He said, we need to let the experts be experts in their fields, and we need to figure out how to have great conversations with what's going on in our schools. And so he would spend time in schools and talk with teachers and administrators. But I think the board needs to know as well that they're not the expert, they're not the expert educators as the trained educators in the classroom are. And I look forward to equipping teachers with more resources as possible, and not believing that I'm the expert. I am a certified educator. I did teach in the Olympia School District, but I want to partner better with teachers and not have the board be the ones that think they know that all of that. And again, believe that parents are also the primary stakeholder in a child's life.
Okay. We are going back to Ryan to answer this question. How is the Olympia School District handling diversity, equity, and inclusion? Do you think any changes are needed?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the things that's reached national news for our district, and diversity, equity, inclusion. It's unfortunate to see folks like on the board say things like fourth grade orchestra are steeped in white supremacy culture, and I think we just have shifted away from a reasonable common sense conversation on this topic. And it's been both in these comments from the board that's gained national news. One board member saying they wanted to be the wokest school board, and it's just become a focus of our community. And instead of being a helpful conversation where we figure out how to create a diverse community and one that's equitable and one that's inclusive, we've pushed ideological agenda and conversation in a way that's just not been helpful. In fact, it's alienated families. And when asked, and I can talk about this in another time when I have time, the number one reason that some parents were leaving when we spoke with them was ideology and politics, and we need to figure out how to have a better conversation.
Thank you, Ryan. Renee.
Could you repeat the question for me one more time?
Yes. How is the Olympia School District handling diversity, equity, and inclusion, and do you think any changes are needed?
So I would say overall as a community, Olympia really values having schools that are open and welcoming to all, where all children feel supported and able to come in and be their best selves at school. And I think based on my own children's experience, we've done some good work on that, and we probably have some more room to grow. Overall, how I would like to bring this into the school board is how do we look at things like student outcomes and sort of breaking that down? sort of nationally overall, for example, we are facing some real challenges with boys and post-secondary, wanting to go on to college afterwards or engaging with the workforce. And to me, it's a point of curiosity, right? How do we look closer at our boys, and are certain boys doing better than others? How can we recommit to populations that are maybe feeling left out while maintaining what is a really important thing in our community, to truly emphasize that everyone is welcome and belongs here?
Thank you, Renee. Beginning with Renee, the final question is, do you believe school boards should ban books from school libraries? If so, what would be your criterion for selecting which books to ban?
Oh my gosh, you guys ask tough questions here.
I'm glad you're going first.
I would say, philosophically, I would oppose banning books. I think that knowledge overall, I'm a huge supporter of libraries. I'm a huge supporter just generally of making a whole suite of ideas available to the community, and that when we get into this idea of some things are okay, some things are not okay, that becomes really difficult, right? Because where does it end? It's hard to see where that road ends, and I flash back to, Fahrenheit 451 and all those sort of classic dystopian novels about what happens when we start declaring some parts and some ideas are okay to think about and others aren't. So I just say overall, I think it's a difficult conversation. We do have state policy now around having a process in place for parents in the district to bring forward concerns about books. So overall, I would just say we need to follow the law and the process that's been set out for us.
Ryan, do you need me to repeat the question?
Sure, why not? One more time.
Do you believe school boards should ban books from school libraries? If so, what would be your criterion for selecting which books to ban?
Yeah. So I think in generally, reasonable people are not for banning books. We would say, hey, let's have a conversation around why that book is in question. What is it that's offensive? Those are the kinds of questions I think that would be helpful to be self-reflective. But there are also some things that probably are not appropriate in certain settings. For example, when Chris Rockdale ran for office of superintendent in 2020, there was a lawsuit that he lost because his curriculum that was proposed, some of the curriculum that was proposed, did show fourth graders different sexual positions, and some parents had some concerns. And he lost that because they thought the book was not helpful to have in the schools. And I think, so in those cases, I think there's some things that we should do to say, hey, that's probably not appropriate for 8-year-olds to be having conversations about in a classroom. And in that case, I think you just have a reasonable conversation with members of all the stakeholders, teachers and parents, and I think those are reasonable conversations to have. And it doesn't mean you're a book banner.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
You now have 1 minute for a closing statement, beginning with Ryan.
Beginning with Ryan. I would just say that I would love to serve on the school board here in Olympia. I grew up in Olympia. I graduated from Olympia High School. I went to Pioneer in Washington. I became a certified teacher. I still am. I taught in the Olympia School District. My in-laws taught in the Olympia School District. My wife worked here. We just love the district. We love kids. And the district has shifted away from a common sense, reasonable, balanced conversation on a whole host of issues. I'd love to be a voice for a number of parents in our community that have said to me when I go and drop off my signs and I say, hey, thanks so much for your support. And they say, it's so nice to see just a sense of common sense and balance in our community, that we're not the only ones that have seen the district shift in a host of ways, particularly around ideology. And so I want to serve, I want to listen, I want to collaborate, I want to encourage, and just continue the great legacy of Olympia schools that we've had for so long.
Okay, Renee, your closing statement.
Thank you. So I would agree that Olympia has a great foundation and a great history as a truly excellent school district. It's part of the reason our family decided to live within Olympia when we bought our house here. I think there are some ways we could continue to evolve and improve our school district, and I would really like to be a part of that moving forward. I think also as a parent who had a kindergartner and a second grader during the school year when we were closed, for a long time. We didn't come back to 4 days a week until May of the 2020-2021 school year. I think we really do still have some things to wrestle with how we treat pandemic families and children and address the learning gaps that are still there. The impacts are real, and it's not a knock on anybody, just acknowledging, it's the situation, and we need to find a way to do things differently and better so we can help our kids succeed.
Okay. Thank you so much to Ryan and Renee for participating in this candidate forum. We thank our partner, TC Media, for producing and airing it. We are indebted to TC Media for years of making these forums happen. TC Media is a nonprofit organization dedicated to making media production accessible to all. They are committed to providing our community with access to professional media production, education, and content creation resources. Your support helps provide studio space, equipment, and education for creators to our community. To donate to TC Media's work or become a member, visit www.tcmedia.org. The League of Women Voters of Thurston County is a nonprofit, nonpartisan civic organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. We work to increase understanding of major public policy issues and influence public policy through education and advocacy. To learn more about our work, support us with a donation, or to become a member, please visit our website at www.lwvthurston.org. We encourage our viewers to be a voter in the upcoming election on August 5th, 2025. Every vote counts. Ballots for military personnel overseas were mailed on June 20th, and all other ballots will be available on July 16th. You may register to vote up to and on Election Day. Thank you for watching this 2025 Primary Candidate Forum.